Oi, oi, vey, represent.
Welcome back to Polly's Pod with a new episode with a little baby. She's our guest today, although she's probably not gonna be behaving very well. But she's my little baby. She's named after my mother. This is Lil Judy. Oh, there goes Lil Judy. Little Judy is shy of the camera, but she's gonna warm up just like her mom. Oh my gosh, I love this little kitty. She's the cutest thing ever. Oh my gosh, I'm fostering her, and it's just brought so much love and joy to my life. She's so sweet. I hope she doesn't ruin this cord and knock it over. Yeah, she's very rambunctious. She loves to play and cuddle. Oh, isn't she cute, guys? Oh, she's a baby. She's so little. Look, you're a star on YouTube already. Everyone's gonna love you. This video is probably gonna get so many views just because of you. I'm gonna tag kitten video, cat video, because people love that shit. Oh my god, her nails are sharp though. She's a little monkey. Who loves the Rugrats? I do. I love this sweatshirt so much. Given to me by a Israeli. You know it. And this glitter, also an Israeli. I swear he was just giving me lots of gifts because he was trying to warm me up to get me to give him a green card. Didn't happen because I'm a smart cookie. Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't get a fool this Jew, you Jew. Anyways, I am really excited that I have this kitty. I've been playing with her with my little children friends that I really would like to get onto this podcast. I'm really afraid I'm gonna roll her over. Oh my gosh, that was my biggest fear, guys, when I first got her, that I was afraid that I was gonna accidentally kill her. The first day I got her, I let her, she has a crate over here, and I let her out of the crate in the morning because she woke me up at 7 in the morning. So I let her out to play because she wouldn't stop crying, and then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up and I couldn't find her, and I freaked out, man. I straight up was crying on the phone, and I was just bugging out. And finally I found her. She was hidden right under it's there's a bunch of sheets right there, and she was hidden right under there, all cuddled up, all sweet and cuddly. So now I'm not so panicky, and I trust her by herself. But I've been having my little kid friends, they come over to play with her. They're so cute. They're obsessed with her. They're knocking on the door. They're like 6 and 8, and they're like, where's the kitty? Where's the kitty? And they come in and they just chase her, and she's just running away from them, hiding, and they're just hardcore obsessing over her. But it's good because I'm trying to get her used to people. And then I brought her outside so much, and as she was getting passed around with all the children, I think it's also good for them to become responsible. I'm very neurotic too about whether or not she has fleas. I'm always looking. Is that a flea? Oh my god. It's not. I swear I saw one. I don't know. Sometimes I think I go crazy. I feel like I could totally become someone that would be schizophrenic because I swear I hear and I see things a lot. And it's all out of neurotic fear. Because I swear in the middle of the night I saw a flea. I gave her a little bath though. She got a little bathy. She hated it. She was nice and clean. She smelled like baby shampoo. Although cats give themselves baths. But I just was paranoid about her coming from this shelter and her being all gross. And then also her just, the flea thing. So I gave her a bath. But it's so cute. My little kid friends who came over yesterday, and we just hung out with the kitty and listened to Spice Girls, did the kid shit. Because I'm just a big kid. I just want to play. I love kids because they just say whatever. They don't care. I was showing this little 6-year-old a video of my mom, and she just says, your mom looks like a boy. Which is true. She's not wrong, I was telling her how I like to walk around naked, the little 6-year-old, and she goes, oh, you do? Did your mom teach you to do that? I was like, yeah, my mom walks around naked too. She's like, what? She says, does your mom also wear crop tops? I'm like, yeah, no, she's a little too big for them. She's like, well, you are too. Touche. She's like, I always see you with a crop top. The first day I met you were the crop top. She's always asking the funniest questions. She's like, why do you have all those tattoos? My mom would never let me get those. They probably wouldn't. They're very well-behaved kids. They're raised, they're Ugandan, and their parents are pretty strict, but they're also like, I really respect them. I've learned a lot about their culture hanging out with them because they're my neighbors. And the kids, like the 8-year-old girl, she's allowed to, they have a baby. She's only like 4 months old. And the little 8-year-old, she holds the baby and walks around outside. And I just feel like I babysit a lot. It's my part-time job. Believe it or not, I'm very maternal, okay? I'm very, very maternal. I know I look like a hot mess, but I'm very good with children. And so she carries around this baby, and I just think it's so amazing because I feel like kids that I've babysat a lot, the parents are so paranoid. They're just so paranoid about their kids. They don't trust them with anything. And this little girl, I just see her with an 8-year-old holding a 4-month-old baby as if it's no big deal. And I just think it's amazing because I feel like it's teaching her how to be responsible, because I think that is her instincts. And I don't think kids, even though they're children, I don't think they're completely idiots. Like it's good for them to learn young how to do these things, I also think they should learn how to use guns and cut with knives. I just found out there's these children, and I don't know what culture it is. Some other culture, it's like one of those tribes or somewhere hidden tribes where they're like in their own little world. And I don't know where this video is, but supposedly David Beckham went to this place. I don't know what it's called. And he lived with these people for a little bit. And in the video, I have to see it. I haven't seen it yet. But my friend told me. Supposedly there's like these little kids, like 3-year-olds, cutting fruit with a sharp knife, cutting just vegetables and fruit. And David Beckham asked them, like, how do they, what did they hurt themselves? How do you know, like, they're going to be okay? And the moms just said, well, if they cut themselves, they just learn not to do it again. Bam! Ain't that a good lesson of life? To trust, you gotta learn trust people to do things, especially children. Because then if they don't learn how to trust themselves, they grow up fucked up like me. Like, I'm learning how to trust myself, starting with this little baby. It's like a big lesson for me to learn how to feel responsible, and that I'm not going to kill this little kitten. It's a big deal for me, guys, because I've kind of been in just a hot mess for a while and just wild. I mean, I'm serious and focused on my career and becoming a successful comedian and actress. But before that, I was a hot mess and very dependent on men. But I'm changing my ways. Becoming a kitty mom. And I love it. I love waking up to her. She wakes up and she meows, meow, meow. And today, for the first time, she was able to jump off the bed on her own. And you can tell my bed's really high. And she jumped off of it today by herself. I'm so proud of you, my little girl. Come here. She's shy in front of the camera. Anywho, so that's been my life, just hanging out with kitties, hanging out with Ugandan children. I played basketball yesterday against this like 17-year-old kid. Oh my god. Heart was hurting from running. It was a one-on-one thing, and wow. I mean, actually though, I'm so proud of myself because I was so close to winning. I think I felt so motivated because these little children they're cheering for me. The one little girl, she's 5. She's like, go Polly, go Polly! And she's screaming at the top of her lungs. I was like thinking, I can't disappoint this girl. I have to let her know that girls can do it too. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Yeah, no, and so I didn't win, but I lost by 1 point. I actually did really well. I grew up playing basketball. My sister, she taught me follow through. Actually, as a kid, I used to play. I played basketball a lot as a kid, but I wasn't into athletic stuff that hardcore. I didn't like the competition behind it. I was always an artistic girl. But my sister was hardcore teaching me and wanted to make me into an athlete and stuff. But I joined the church. I know. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you guys. I forgot. I have to tell you about my Jews for Jesus stuff. So I was raised. I'll tell you. Let me get to it. But first, let me say that I grew up going to church. So I joined a church team called Calvary Chapel, a basketball team, when I was in 5th grade. But I quit after like a month. And I just think it was because I had such issues with like letting people see me fail in public. which is why I never pursued anything up until about 8 years ago. True story. I didn't believe in myself. It took a long time and I'm still working on it. But I play basketball on this team. But I really love basketball though. It's my favorite sport to play. That and softball, but and football because I like to get physical. But basketball for sure. But this kid, he was not really being easy on me, even though I'm a girl, which I liked. But I also was like, okay. But he was pretty rough and like very aggressive, like not like fucking elbowing me in the face, but you know, aggressive. And I was really, oh man, it just, my heart really hurt. It was hard to run like that a lot. It was tough, but I did it. I persevered. I've been working out these days, guys. Can you see my abs? Okay. I don't know if you can tell by that, but I've been really working out. I've been doing these YouTube workout videos. I'm just killing it, man. All these ab workout videos and just every day. I'm so proud of myself. I've really gotten into shape, which if anyone knows me, if you don't, I'm telling you now, I hate working out. I really don't like it. Every time I'm doing it, like, this is a waste of time. But I like these YouTube workout videos because I'll do stuff as I'm doing it. I'll listen to something on YouTube or whatever. Or I'll work on something, and it helps me a lot. Anyways, Juice for Jesus. Let's talk about it. So yeah, I was raised, I'm Jewish. People always tell me I should talk about this in my comedy, and I'm actually going to do it tonight when I go to an open mic, which I'm very excited about. But I was raised as a Messianic Jew. It's called Juice. I was raised in this ministry, going to this ministry called Juice for Jesus. I'm Jewish, but my parents, like, they just believed in Christian stuff. So both, when they were in their 20s, they started going to church randomly, and that's where they met, and they got knocked up with me out of wedlock, you slut, Judy. My mom's always lecturing me about not having sex before marriage, but she did it. She did it a couple times, so she's obviously living in regret and taking it out on me. But anyways, but I'm not having sex, man. I am like 100 days no sex. I'm so proud of myself. But it feels good. Empowered. So my parents, they met going to church, and I don't know why. My mom just said randomly she was walking around. They're both from Philly, and she was in Philly, and she, like, someone invited her to a church, and she just wandered in. But she said that as, like, my mom's mom, my grandma Helen, I think they celebrated Shabbat and stuff, but they weren't very religious. So neither of my parents came from religious Jewish families. So they just did, like, traditional stuff. They didn't really do it that much. So I guess she felt, like, very lost. Anyway, so they landed in the church. And then they raised me basically in an evangelical Presbyterian church with my sisters. And I hated it. I just went for the donuts. That's all I cared about. They had donuts in the basement every Sunday. I just got so excited to go there and get the donuts and get my coffee and fill it up with that really, really sweet vanilla stuff, the creamer. And I hated it. I just hated that. I just didn't like the church. I felt like everyone there was so judgy and everything. But then, so I went to that church every week, like so many times a week, and I was raised, parents were really hardcore about the Christian stuff. But then I would go to Jews for Jesus stuff, the ministry. I would go to this Jews for Jesus stuff, you know, like in the winter time and the summer. In the winter, they would have these events. And in the winter, I would go, on like Thanksgiving, actually, it's not the winter, but Thanksgiving, we'd hand out these Jews for Jesus pamphlets in New York, in the subways and stuff. And it traumatized me. Being yelled at, I got yelled at by this Hasidic Jew one time. I was 12, and he screamed at me, "You're not a real Jew!" And he ripped up the pamphlet, and it really traumatized me. So I always had, like, a lot of issues of, like, am I really Jewish? So now I'm just really, I want to prove it to everyone. I feel like I'm Pinocchio. I just have to prove to everyone, like, yeah, I'm a real Jew. But, so yeah, I didn't really grow up doing, like, Shabbat and doing all these traditional Jewish things. So I didn't know that much. Like, I didn't know what a goy was until a couple years ago. It's a non-Jew. That's for anyone that doesn't know. There's a lot of things like Jewish I didn't know, you know, and I didn't speak Hebrew. I didn't go to Hebrew school or anything like that. So now I'm rediscovering it. But, yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was, Jews for Jesus. But when we went to, I actually had, so even though I didn't like the Christian, I didn't believe so much, the Jews for Jesus stuff I didn't really stick with as I got older. I separated, and now I'm not in anything. I'm just Jewish, and I go to Shabbat and stuff, and I'm still discovering how religious I want to get, because I don't like all the rules and you have to cover up so much, so I'm just kind of on the edge. But I went to Jews for Jesus camp in the summer, which I actually loved. Like, even though it was all this Christian mentality, because Jews for Jesus people, they're Jewish, but it's like they have the Christian beliefs. So they basically, it's so hard to explain this to people. For me, it's hard because I don't really give a shit. Like, Jewish people don't typically believe that Jesus, they just believe Jesus was a man that got lost and like went over to the wrong side. Like, he was a Jewish man that got lost and started going to the Christians and lost his mind. That's what the Jews say to me. But the Jews for Jesus people and Christians believe, like, Jewish Jesus, you know, he rose from the dead. Like, he died and he rose from the dead. And that's what I was raised to believe. But the Jews are like, no, man, he's not God. God's God. And Jesus is crazy, like, basically. And so that's really what the difference, I think the main difference is the belief system of it. But basically, I always liked, like, I didn't grow up with a lot of Jews around me. Like, Jews for Jesus people were the only really Jews. I hung out with Russian Jews in high school. That's a whole different thing. But the Jews for Jesus people, I like them because, like, Jews for Jesus are not Jews for Jesus. All Jews have a certain specific humor that I really just relate to. It's just we have this thing in common. So I would go to the summer camps, and I became really good friends with a lot of the girls that some of them I'm really still pretty close with. Probably only one, actually, Aaliyah. She actually became very religious, opposite of Jews for Jesus. Anyways, but we like do all this Jews for Jesus camp. We would do camp stuff like archery. My kitty's meowing. We do archery and stuff. Come here, sweetie. Oh my god, I'm gonna fall off this ball. She should sit in my lap. We do like archery, which I loved, and horseback riding. But I feel like all the Jews for Jesus people now actually really don't like me because I pretty much made a lot of songs about them talking shit. I'm not talking shit majorly. I have good memories, but I also was traumatized. So anyways, that's my Jews for Jesus stuff. And now I'm kosher. Really just because I want to feel special. But I really am trying to be kosher. I mean, I don't eat pork and no bottom feeder fish. She's a baby. And I don't eat kitties. Only Chinese people do that. How could they ever? But yeah, that's my Jew thing. And I'm like super passionate about being with a Jew now. I never felt that way before. I was just dating a bunch of goy schmucks, and now I'm just like, no, they've corrupted me. I mean, there's Jewish men that have corrupted me too, mostly Israelis, because that's the only Jews I've been with. I've only dated one Jewish American guy who was a schmuck. He was married, separated, also in the business. He's a talent manager of some very... But that's pretty much why I moved out here, actually, to LA, for this schmuck manager that ultimately lied to me. Well, isn't that a surprise? A man in the entertainment business lying to a woman? What? When does that happen? Anywho, guys, I think that's all I'm going to say today. I'm really glad you got to meet my kitty. And you will see her again because she is a sweet girl and she deserves to get the light. The world deserves to see this beautiful child. If you like my video, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell me what you want to see next, anything else. If you're looking for a guest, you want to hear anything, tell me what you want to hear about. Ask me some questions you want to hear about my life. I'm willing to get personal. This is where I'm at. I'm getting personal in my life with my comedy on the internet to the whole world. Because you know what? I'm taking a chance. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be vulnerable even though my raps, they're kind of, I know that the people say they're aggressive, but they're really real. And I really love the Rugrats and love kitties and children and the Spice Girls. That's pretty much my life and what I love. So I think I've decided I'm going to stay away from, I mean, not just for now. I just have no interest in talking about the world and all the drama happening in all the world. I just have no interest in talking about it. I'm just so over all this stuff. So I was just like staying in my own little world with my cat and my children. Toodaloo, guys. Thanks for watching Polly's Pod.